Now, for 3-11b, we're going to focus on what our actual lesson is. And remember, our question is, how can I use the associative, the commutative, and distributive properties to help make math easier? So first, we're going to spend some time and we're going to review the commutative property of addition, the associative property of addition, and the distributive property of addition. So give me a second. I'm going to type out some things, and then we'll be ready to go. All right, so the commutative property of addition and the associative property of addition. Now, remember, we've talked about the commutative property already this year. And basically what that says is if I take A plus B, it is going to be the same as B plus A. And all that means is, think about how we commute to school. You come to school one way, well, it's going to get you home if you go home the other way. It's going to be the same. If you don't believe me, let's give you an example here. Let's do that in red because I feel bad for red. 5 plus 4 is the same as 4 plus 5. Now, we should know that 5 plus 4 is 9. And then 4 plus 5 is 9. And there's no difference there. Whether we look A plus B, either way we go, it's going to be the same. All right? And the associative property of addition is, if I look at it algebraically, which would be in letters, would be parenthetical A, let's erase that, and let's go to black here, so they're consistent here. Parenthetical A plus B plus C is the same as A plus parenthetical B plus C. And all that means is we can group numbers differently according to what helps us. If you want proof, not in terms of grouping, let's just look back to our example, A plus B. A was 5, plus B is 4, and let's just make C 6. Okay, so that's 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 6 is 15. Now if I put the same numbers here, 5 plus 4 plus 6, whoops, I put C, I apologize there. 6 plus 4 is 10, plus 5 is 15. Now remember, we do whatever is in the parentheses first. That's why we set them aside in parentheses. Okay, so let's look at this on a large scale. Let's look at this in terms of some big examples, because that's when we talk about why these are so important. Because remember, my question was, how we started the class today is, how do we use these? How do we use the commutative property, the associative property, the distributive property to help make our lives easier? Because that's what it's about. It's about making our lives easier, because we all want easier lives. Okay? We know Mr. Winkleman is going to give us homework. The question is, how can we do our homework more efficiently and quickly? Well, let's look here. If I have 30,000 here, and 20,000, 80,000, 49,000, and 70,000, and I want to add them all up. Now I can add them all up and go 0, 0, I can 0, 0, 0, 9, 3, 5. Okay, and it's going to take us a little bit of thinking. Okay, now how do we make that easier? Well, ladies and gentlemen, let's start grouping things. Let's start putting things together. Let's use the associative property, because that's one that's really going to allow us to move numbers around. And let's manipulate this problem, because if I put 3 and 7 together, that's going to give me 10. If I put 2 and 8 together, that's going to give me 10. So, 10, that's going to give me 100,000. So this is 100,000. This is 100,000. So all I have left now is 49. Well, 100,000 plus 100,000 is 200,000. And then I just have this left, 249,000. And all we did, boys and girls, is we just moved numbers around because we can, as long as we are adding and technically multiplying. Let's look at another example quickly here. 90,000, 25,000, 75,000, 67,000, and then 10,000. Now let's add those together. Again, I could do just column, 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 or I can start making patterns in my brain. 25 and 75 equal 100. 90 and 10 equal 100. So this is 100,000. This is 100,000. And then all I have left is 60,000. 100,000 plus 100,000 is 200,000 plus 67,000, 267,000. Now, does it work with decimals? Well, let's look and see. One more example for this page. Okay, we've got 5 and 75 hundredths, 5 and 4 tenths, 5 and 25 hundredths, 5 and 17 hundredths, and then 5 and 6 tenths. Now, let's add those together. If I want, I could always just go whoop, 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 and add, or let's use our brain and let's make this easier. 70.075 and 0.25 is going to give me 1. 0.4 and 0.6 is going to give me 1. So all I'm going to have left then is the 0.17. So let's just bring the 0.17 down. And I'm going to carry these two right here. And then I can go 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 26, 27. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the secret to this process, the secret of what we're going to do is about making 10. How can I make 10 for my brain? Now, I made 10, and I just remember it's 100,000, because 30 plus 70 is going to be 100, and now we have 100,000. 20 plus 80, 100. Okay, 90, 10, 100, 75, 25, 100, 75, 25, it's still 100. 4 and 6 is 1. I'm sorry, 75 and 25 is 1. So the goal is to make 10 or to make your groups of 100, or in this case, it was 100,000. But whatever it is, whatever your brain makes sense. Your brain doesn't automatically make groups of 17 or groups of 4. Okay? Your brain makes groups of 10. Let your brain make these groups so you're ready to go. All right, next video, we're going to talk about the distributive property.